Hey, I shouldn't be telling you this, but if you skip this part of the video, you will miss out on the deal of a lifetime. If you click the link in the description, you will see that Atlas VPN are giving out an offer to get a 3-year subscription for just $1.83 per month. That's less than Netflix's latest price increase. Plus, it comes with 3 months for free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's the best VPN on the market, and you can use it to watch shows that are not available on streaming services in your country. So you can watch Friends on UK Netflix, no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have a subscription to Netflix. You can even use it on unlimited devices, so everyone in your house can watch Friends on UK Netflix at once. And they keep your searches private, so that we'll all finally stop spying on you. But remember, time is of the essence if you want to get this offer. Just $1.83 per month to get a 3-year subscription by clicking the link in the description below.
My wife, 38 female, has fallen in love with another man and I, 37 male, found out. I'm lost. This is really hard for me. My wife and I have been together for 12 years. Married for 7. We have 3 wonderful kids together. 8, 5, apologies for the long spiel. The backstory. She started showing unusual signs in her behavior a month or 2 ago. More fixated on her looks and feeling sexy, buying new clothes, always on her phone, changed phone password etc. She started saying things like, "I'd love to go out for a night in the city, just to get a break," which I was very supportive of, as she needs a break. She works hard, at her job and for the kids and I. At first I wasn't suspicious, in fact, she started to want to have sex more, twice in a week, and bought herself a new vibrator. Everything seemed great. Personal backstory. We don't have a particularly intimate relationship these days. We used to, before the kids. But most of the time we're just trying to get everything done. She gets up at 4:30 in the morning to work in her office. I get up at 6, or later, much to her disappointment, and start looking after the kids. So sex happens very infrequently, maybe 3-5 times a year. This wasn't my ideal situation, but in my mind there were reasons. She had PTSD from having the kids, and had been on anti-depression and anti-anxiety medication. She didn't really like to be physically touched, so I was just hoping that one day things would improve. We get along really well, and can always talk at great length. We are a great team in so many aspects of life. I love spending time with her. I find her funny, intelligent and sexy. I was a pretty lucky guy. Back to the story. Everything seemed great. But one day she wanted to tell me that a month before, I had shown her a photo of my sister's new baby who was just born the night before. And it triggered her PTSD. She said I wasn't understanding as she'd expected and that she felt lonely. Since then she has come to realize that I'll never be a perfect husband and that we're just 2 people with our own baggage and faults and we should accept that. She also mentioned that she has felt disconnected from me, and that we should try to do more fun things to feel more connected. This was hard to hear. I had actually felt the opposite, that we were more connected than usual. On the PTSD triggering thing, my memory of what happened isn't very good, but I absolutely dropped the ball and could have been more understanding of her trauma. So, with this conversation in mind, and her behavior change, I started wondering what was going on. And started to see the little red flags. She was talking about this guy at work who she quite likes, he's smart but rough around the edges, but you'd hate him. Lol, etc. And then one evening while I was dancing with the kids in the kitchen, my son handed me my wife's phone which was controlling the music, but he'd swiped the screen and I saw that Snapchat was in the recent apps. Now, we talk quite openly about a lot of stuff. We have some friends going through some personal dilemmas, and I know all the chat apps she normally uses. Snapchat has never come up as a way for her to communicate with her friends in our conversations. I swiped back to the music and didn't investigate. As she has a thing about phones being personal space. But later that night I told my wife that I'd accidentally seen on her phone this even that she was using Snapchat. And she was instantly defensive, saying, "Yeah, I have all the social media apps. And, I can't talk about this now, anyway, I'm going to skip a bit here, things were a bit messy." I said some hurtful things, she denied everything. We went for a week of me wondering what was going on, while trying to figure out what to do about it. One day, I confronted her. I knew something was going on, and our personal trajectory wasn't looking good. I called her aside and said simply, "I think I'd like to get a divorce and you know why." After a minute she finally admitted that yes. She had fallen in love with a coworker of hers. They'd been chatting for a couple of months, but in the last few weeks they'd both admitted that they loved each other. And it made her really happy. I was absolutely gutted. But I had also been mentally preparing as much as I was able to deal with this. I didn't get angry, but after a lot of conversation, this was my position. I told her that I can't stand in the way of her love. If I ask her to stop, she'll resent me. If it's real, we can find a way to make her happy. I love her unconditionally, and if she discovers that it's not real, I'll be here for her. She said she had a lot of thinking to do, and that she needed some time. She said she wasn't expecting a reasonable reaction from me. Side note: very early on in our relationship, she had an impromptu big night out with another man, and I was pretty upset about it despite her saying that nothing had happened, and that had an impact on our trust. After some days passed, she told me some things. There have been times in the past when she needed me and I've let her down. She didn't believe that I loved her unconditionally, that if she fucked up I'd get separated from her. She said she didn't feel like I acknowledged or accepted her. But this other guy did. And lastly, she said that she has many kinds of love for me, but it's not a passionate spark of love. That was only a few days ago. Feels like weeks though. We're at a point where she is very busy with her work and needs to focus on that. She had booked a room in the city which she was going to stay at when she went for a late work meeting. I asked if she was going to meet the man, and she said she was going to catch up with him for a drink before, but that nothing was going to happen. So she'll still be doing that in a few days. I've told her that I trust her. I guess she needs to see him before she can come to a conclusion about what she wants. But of course, I have a fear that they'll be using the room together. This is my analysis of the situation. This man is the embodiment of what was lacking in our relationship. No passion, spark. Their love appears to be real, not some mistake. I'm sad that she didn't talk to me about how important the passion, spark was to her, and we could have tried to work on it, or sought out couples counseling before we got to this stage. Now, in terms of solutions, they could end their relationship, but that might end up with her resenting me. And unless we both want to work on improving our relationship, it doesn't solve anything. They could try to suppress their love, go back to being work friends. And let me know if things get out of hand again. I would place my trust in her to do the right thing here. But it's incredibly risky that things could bubble up again. And once again, doesn't solve our relationship issues. She could leave me for him, although practically this is unlikely because of all the factors that she wouldn't be able to avoid thinking about. The kids, the house, money, etc. I'm trying to present this to her as a realistic option. Because I don't actually want her to miss out on a chance at happiness if she's actually found her true love. It's not her fault that it's not me. I'd fight tooth and nail to get her back, but I won't stand in the way of love. And lastly, another side note. While all this has been going on, our open, honest chats have actually been great. We've been connecting better than we have for a good long time. It's very hard for me to sit on this. I feel angry, slighted and unloved. But I'll need to process all that in a healthy way, as it's no use in the context of this situation. Anyway, Reddit. Sorry for the long read, but I feel like the context is important. I'd value people's take on this, especially anyone who'd been through this before. And I'll post an update once things change. Sorry man. I hate to tell you my opinion, but here it is. 1. There is no solution. She is done with you. You will have to accept that. It sucks and it hurts, and you're about to embark on a long journey of your own. But it will be okay eventually. 2. I don't have a very good opinion of your wife at all. I'm going to leave it at that. I think it sounds like there are personality disorders at work. And she is simply selfish. Focus on getting through this. Your kids are going to need you. Be the best father you can be. Never talk badly about her around the kids. Focus on self-care for yourself. You need to model that for the kids. And don't blame yourself. I'm sorry. Matched with his friend on Tinder. Do I tell him? So I just found out that the guy I'm dating, going well so far, is really good friends with a guy the first matched with on Tinder well over a year ago. I was snooping Date's Facebook and saw the friend's profile. He hasn't formally shown me any of his friends, so I think I have time to bring it up. From the little I remember, he had more flattering pics on Tinder and we hit it off. I don't remember exactly, but I think moved to Instagram, and his more realistic pics kinda made me lose interest, and I didn't like the vibes too much, so I unfortunately ghosted him after talking maybe a week, I think in total. Max 2 weeks, I don't remember. I can't find him or the messages on Instagram now, so not sure if he still has them. We never met up, but I remember suggesting meeting up in the original Tinder messages. I have no clue if this guy remembers me, but should I tell the guy I'm dating about this? I don't want to seem like the asshole who ghosted his friend. Or do I just act like I don't remember if the friend ever brings it up? I definitely lost all interest in the friend back when we initially talked, so 0% attraction to him now. I really like the guy I'm dating, and this just makes me feel so weird now that his friend might remember and hate me. Even by making this post, you're making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. You matched a guy on Tinder and never met up. That's about as innocuous as having a brief chat with someone at the next gas pump. Would you feel the need to divulge that you maybe had a conversation at a gas pump with someone a year ago? Personally, I wouldn't bring it up, because it's weird to admitting staking his socials. Secondly, because you never actually dated him. But why? Say, remember me? We matched on Tinder. How are you? Oh, I'm dating your friend. Teehee. Honestly, that's clingy. The Tinder guy might not remember you and not know what to say to you when you're dating his friend. He doesn't know you, really. If he knows who you are, then what? Befriend? That's fine, but seriously focus on your guy you're dating instead. Don't bother bringing it up. You are one of many just like he probably was. If he brings it up to you, laugh it off. Nothing happened. She, 29F, cheated on me, 32M, with a man she met at the bar. He's just a friend. She'd say that on repeat like it would bring truth to the lie. He was a regular at the pub she worked at. And it started small, of course. She'd stay out a little later with him. She'd go for drinks on a Friday with him. By the end she'd even sleep at his house. But always as a friend. I am a cyber contractor, often contracted by various individuals for finding infidelity cases most times. And I have always been silently tempted to use my skills to find out if she was cheating. I have always said no. I pushed the issue once. Asked her if she felt it was appropriate to go home with a regular from the pub she worked at, and sleep at his house. My question was deflected like a world-class boxer shrugging off a punch. Before a return blow was landed squarely on my concerns. You need to trust me, she'd say. You don't trust me to sleep on the couch at a friend's house? So I'll let it go. And these small things began to grow into big things. You can try and hold on to a relationship like that. But it's water in your hands. Give it enough time, and you'll be left with nothing, wondering who turned off the tap that had flooded you with happiness for years. And so she was gone. I'm not leaving you to be with him, she said, the last night I saw her. I just need to find myself in the world. Seemed incredible timing that they started dating a week later. And you know what? Despite the turmoil of seeing the ground approaching and having no way to exit the relationship gracefully. Despite them celebrating their 6-month anniversary just 7 months after we broke up. I get it. Because you don't choose who you fall in love with. I could never hate someone for that. But you do choose how you handle it. She texted me back 2 days ago and asked for us to get back. I don't know how to handle that. I do need advice on the right way to handle such a request. You can cheat like she did. Or leave on your own when you feel the water's running dry. I am well over her. But I needed to get that off my chest. And here felt right. That's where the most important unspoken boundaries come into play. They're not what you ask of someone else, but what you ask of yourself. The greatest unspoken boundaries exists inside of you. And it's up to you to acknowledge them, not ignore them. If you wake up and your attraction to your partner is gone, if you wake up and your respect for your partner is gone, if you wake up and your love for your partner gone, then you need to pack your shit and go. Once you fall out of love with someone, you leave. Staying, and prolonging their pain by giving them hope, is a boundary you never cross. Because when the waters of your relationship run dry, it's not fair to make your partner think life-giving rain is on the way, when the earth is permanently scorched. Oh, and also don't eat the last slice of pizza when I'm hungry. That's an unspoken boundary too. And here felt like the right place to speak my mind. She trickle-trugged you and planned this out. She is supposed to be in a relationship with you and meanwhile is going out on dates with this guy and going to his house for sleepovers. She is acting single, so now she is single. Do not take her back. Do not talk or respond to her. You leave her and move on. Work on yourself and then in the future think about dating again. Never give a cheater a second chance ever. She disrespected and gaslighted you in the most vile way, and now that the novelty has worn off, she wants to get back with her plan B. Know your worth, buddy, and cut all contact with her. Yeah, no. It's been 7 months. Go and see and move on, my dude. Don't even respond to that message, and in case you did, it's okay, just block her everywhere. This is fake, it's just an ad for his cyber contractor services. You sound very mature, I'm sure you'll find someone better. I hung out with my BF's friends and now I want to break up with him. Edit. To clarify, this isn't the first time that I've hung out with Jack and Mia. It is the first time I met Sam. I've hung out with Jack over 100 times and he won't speak to me. And Mia about 50. I have made many attempts to be involved and relate, but I've gotten to the point where I need them to put in some effort as well. I've decided to end things with my boyfriend because, like most of the comments have said, bird of a feather hang together. He has no job, desire to get a job, and acts overwhelming entitled to the endless things his provide for him. I am incredibly shy, so maybe I'm overthinking this, but I went to a sporting event with my boyfriend, another couple, M.F., and another girl. All of us are 25. I also don't live near my boyfriend and his friends. I've hung out with the other couple, Jack and Mia, maybe 5 times. It would usually go well and Mia and I made conversation easily. Jack has only said literally one sentence to me. I knew Jack 2 years before he met Mia as well. My boyfriend brought his new friend with him to the game. They've known each other for a year, her name is Sam. When my boyfriend and I weren't speaking, she tried to set him up with her friends. Admittedly, he's broken up with me a lot during our 4 years together. Also, there's absolutely nothing going on between him and Sam. She is in their friend group chat, despite only having met the other guys in the chat once. The other guys and I get along great. So at the game we all sitting in a row with my boyfriend at the very end and me sitting next to Sam. I could tell that she didn't really want to sit next to me. She was apprehensive to sit next to me and just her general body language told me she was uncomfortable. About 15 minutes into the game, both girls start giggling and they disappear. Later they come back with a soda for each of us and 4 pretzels. They hand us sodas and pass my boyfriend a pretzel. Then Sam asks me if I'd like a pretzel, but Mia gives her a really confused look and said she got the pretzel for Sam. Sam responded by saying she doesn't like pretzels. I thought it was a little weird, but whatever. Later, my boyfriend goes to the bathroom. When he's gone, the girls start giggling again and all 3 of them leave. No one says anything to me or asks me to come with. So I'm just sitting there during intermission alone for 20 minutes. I felt very awkward. My boyfriend comes back and later the rest of the group does as well. The girls leave again 5 minutes later. At the end of the game we all leave, he drops me off and they all head home. When he's home, he's telling me about how happy he was to have all his favorite people join him for a game, and I'm sitting in my bed crying because I was so uncomfortable and the whole experience just reminded me how I'll never be a part of the group. And honestly, it makes me want to end things with him. I want to feel like I belong, like I'm incorporated into his life, not just a side project. I recently realized that I never wanted a long-distance relationship where I only see him once a week. And just in general, I don't feel like I relate to his group. This whole experience at the game felt very much like high school, but they all just act childish as well. They all live with parents, have part-time minimum wage jobs, spend all day on their phones. I work full-time and have my own business outside of work. And I've lived alone since I was 18. Any insight on the situation would help. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I really don't feel like I'm happy in a LDR and I don't think my boyfriend is worth it. I think the girls giggling and body language is a small point here. The concerning part is you saying how often he has broken up with you, how you don't enjoy the distance and how you feel. You said it yourself, you aren't happy in a long-distance relationship. You're at a different point in your job, responsibilities and life than he is, still living with his parents. Maybe it's time you call things off and fully embrace where you are living now, and find a group that suits you better there. Admittedly, he's broken up with me a lot during our 4 years together. I think maybe this is the more important issue. You are 25 with your shit together. You need to get better friends and a committed partner. He is not husband material. If he was, he would protect you from being hurt. Did that fucker even notice you were upset?